The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs), adopted by world leaders during the 70th session of the United Nations General Assembly in September 2015, envision a present and a future that is economically sustainable, socially inclusive, and environmentally resilient. This is expressed through the framing of the 17 SDGs, 169 targets, and 230 related indicators, underpinned by the 5 Ps, which are people, peace, prosperity, partnership, and planet. Young people have been active architects in the development of the 2030 Agenda and continue to be engaged in the frameworks that support its implementation, aside from being mere beneficiaries. As part of the efforts to continue to galvanize the youth for action for the SDGs, the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs and the United Nations Information Center, UNIC, have initiated a national youth campaign on the global goals. The campaign comprises an SDG Youth Circle and the SDGs Short Film Challenge. The SDG Youth Circle is an hour-long live studio program targeted at young people aged 18 to 35. The interactive session will feature conversations around the role of young people in advocating for the goals, creation of an enabling space for young people, as well as raising awareness on the important work which young people are currently doing around the SDGs in Nigeria. According to the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs, Princess Adejoke Orilokpe Adefolire, who spoke through her Senior Technical Advisor, Dr. Bala Yunusa, the Advocacy and Communications Campaign seeks to create awareness and engage young people across the different geopolitical zones to promote the ideals of the SDGs, which in turn will help boost their capacity to innovate and become change agents for sustainable development.
The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development is broadly about the youth. It is about generational and transformational change that will enable us to deliver on the promise of leaving no one behind. This office, being the office that coordinates the overall implementation of the SDGs through the provision of horizontal and vertical intergovernmental planning and coordination, resource mobilization and management, representation, advocacy and partnership building, and the monitoring, evaluation, and reporting for the SDGs. Partnerships are at the heart of the 2030 Agenda and the entire SDG framework. SDG 17, it's specifically about partnerships for the goals and the means of implementation. And so to broadly facilitate the achievement of the core mandate of the office and to ensure that Nigeria remains on track in our desire to operationalize and achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, we've built strategic partnerships, and one of such partnerships is with the United Nations Development System in Nigeria. Earlier on, we have worked closely with the United Nations Information Center to translate the SDGs targets and goals, 17 of them, and 169 targets into the 3 major Nigerian languages, Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo, estimated to be spoken by approximately 139 million Nigerians. In advancing that partnership, we recognize the critical role that the youths play in, if you like, in sustainable development more broadly. We looked at the numbers. Approximately 60% of the Nigeria's population is said to be representing the youths, and therefore we cannot make meaningful progress on the entire 2030 agenda without the involvement, active participation and engagement of the youth. It is in that spirit that we have recognized the role the National Youth Service Corps, for example, play in molding Nigerian youths, the educated youths. And so we, since 2017, have commenced a joint program where we reach out to the core members, recognize them that these are educated youths and they have the capacity to extend the territorial reach of the state. So we work closely with the National Youth Service Corps to get the youth corps members as they arrive in the orientation camp, sensitize them on the 2030 agenda and the SDGs, and their role in operationalizing the SDGs. And therefore, as they complete their mandatory orientation, we also follow them through their places of primary assignment so that they serve as SDG champions across the nooks and crannies of this country, and they give us feedback, and that feedback remains quite useful. We have in 2019 kickstart with the world's largest lesson youths program, where we activated a campaign to go to all the strategic places within our communities, the churches, the mosques, and the market, if you like, community centers, to advocate for the global goals, and also try to understand the role that youths, in women, market women, smallholder farmers, traditional and community leaders will play in our desire to operationalize and have a whole of society approach to the implementation of the SDGs.
According to Dr. Yunusa, the dialogue will include questions pertaining to the role of young people in helping to create a more sustainable future, and in turn, how they can be adequately supported to do this. The discussions will be framed around the 5 Ps and will be moderated by an anchor. The SDG Youth Circle will run on national television network and will include simultaneous transmission between studios in Abuja and Lagos to help ensure wider engagement. Other objectives of the dialogue include, among others, raise awareness of the SDGs in Nigeria among young people aged 18 to 35, initiate dialogue on youth engagement to accelerate the achievement of the SDGs, capture the unique needs and perspectives of youth towards fostering inclusive development, document the youth perspectives to help track progress on critical development issues affecting them, including decent work and economic growth, gender equality, quality education, industry, innovation and infrastructure, climate change, etc. The dialogue, scheduled to hold on Thursday, 22nd December 2022, will be live-streamed to the television network streaming platforms and promoted online extensively by all partners.
And specific to what we are about to do now with the United Nations Information Center on the Youth Dialogue, as well as the campaign or the challenge, the Youth Challenge, SDG Challenge with the youth, is basically to make sure that we even deepen such engagement, so that we don't only engage more, if you like, constructively with the youths, trying to understand, where they have comparative advantage in the entire operationalization of the SDGs in Nigeria. As I've mentioned earlier, the 2030 agenda is just about the youth. It's futuristic, and we have 7.5 years to go, and therefore we need the active participation of the youths. And we believe that with the capacity, with the skills, they have a critical role to play. So we'll start with the dialogue on the 22nd of December, Thursday, 2022. We hope to hold that dialogue where we bring representative of youth organizations broadly from the civil society, people working directly on all the SDG areas, to have a dialogue, discuss and reflect on how best to work together in synergy, so that we can all fast track the achievement of the SDGs as we move towards the 2030 time frame.
Like the Youth Circle, the SDGs Short Film Challenge is also an initiative birthed to galvanize the youth in this decade, where all efforts are geared towards taking actions towards the actualization of the Sustainable Development Goals through films. The challenge, which charged young filmmakers to harness their creative prowess to identify root causes of developmental issues in our society and proffer solutions to them. The film challenge, which opened on 25th September 2022, allowed filmmakers to submit films not more than 15 minutes in length for consideration.
So on the SDG Film Challenge, we expect that youths that are eligible will send in creative film of about 15-minute maximum, and then it will be looked at, reviewed and evaluated by some group of experts, and then it will earn them an award at the end. And it's just a way of incentivizing, creativity and making sure that we all have a role to play within the 2030 agenda.
Over the submission period, the challenge received tens of films and submissions from within and outside Nigeria. Here is a list of titles received as submissions and some of the trailers of selected films. Notice Me by Jeremiah Onoge.
I can't be mad.
My daughter is not mad.
I feel like I'm going crazy.
I think she's just feeling proud.
I'm crazy.
And what do you expect from a award-winning brain? You can't imagine what it took me to convince her to come for this dinner.
I'll take my leave.
I Am One by Samson Ogaga.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. That is thy kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
We are no longer safe in our houses. We can't even trust our children to be safe in their schools.
As a matter of fact, I want my mommy.
And I haven't seen my daughter. No! What's happening? You're asking me.
In 3 kidnapped persons will suffer a mental health disorder.
See me like I'm a chicken.
Stoic by Joseph Ohiomina.
Where's it?
Get out! Come back here. Go and pack my clothes and take them to the washing machine.
We'll do all of it.
Why didn't you come back and ask me first?
Egui,
You will go back there, return this thing, and bring me back my money.
Go and turn on that tap. This should be the last time I will have to come out here to remind you to always turn on that borehole. Are you daft?
Atoke's Child by Obiamaka Oyebon and Udochukwu Onoha.
Leave my daughter out of it.
Mommy, are you okay?
Mommy, there is nothing more satisfying than this moment.
Any toy in Yoruba Atoke?
This was your mom's. And she would like you to have it.
The truth you seek is right in front of you.
After the Waters by Al-Malohi Ojamiren.
When you stay by the river bank, I guess, you should expect those kind of things. But I remember asking before I got there, and they said that nothing like that had ever happened before.
Look at our building. We are managing one room with my children. We are about 12.
I was like, fine, I'm not even going to be here longer than a year. So if you've been here 7 years, no flood, why would there be a flood in 1 year? And that was why I decided to take the risk.
The rain started about 1 a.m. in the nights.
Terminated 1 p.m. the next day.
There was a lady over there. Water took her and 2 kids away. Till today, we don't know their whereabouts.
The dead body that they discovered that very day, it was 36.
It was only God that saved my little kids that was in my bedroom, sleeping.
I saw my landlady when I got there, and I greeted her. There was no response. She didn't get anything out of that flood. Like literally everything she had went with that flood, including the houses that provided some of the income she survived on.
I haven't been comfortable. No recovered. Things have been worse.
At this house, any moment, it might give way. It's already coming down.
TFL by Adetola Films. Fatima by Hanifa Alex Simon.
Rita, get out of this place.
Please try and understand with me, Dad. This girl has a better future. Speaking with her alone, she seems so brilliant.
In fact, babu makaranta for you. Kina jina? Kai, jira, wait. Daga yau.
What kind of life is this? I don't want this life. I want a better life. I want to go to school too.
Time to Live by Taiwo Shito.
They've been doing this for years. Officers harass citizens and take what they can from them.
Raise your head.
And I demand that you treat him humanely.
You are the female lawyer, Abby.
What was his crime?
He owned a laptop.
He was tortured, beaten to death, with his hands and legs tied.
Do you know there is human rights activists in the town questioning people?
Don't worry, my boys are on the case.
You better be.
My son is my only child. I understand. He only went for a party. Open this car.
Excuse me, you are harassed. Are you getting this?
Of course I am. He was on his way home when they picked him up. Marco and his men.
Every single one of them had similar experience.
How have they gotten away with this for so long?
Almost by Jonah Eno Moses. Afterthought by Edudamen Macaulay and Samario Kennedy. Okwo Mose, No Beauty in War by Lancelot Odua Imasuen. Thoughts by Aizegbe Daniel. Notice Board by Joseph Ohiomina. Upcoming Jonah Eno Moses. Sway by Jonah Eno Moses. Nobody Told Me by Femi Iyanu. Teardrop in the Rain, Jeremiah Onoge. Echoes of Uwa, Blues of the Girl Child, Jeremiah Onoge. Voices by Abiodun Odu. For My Mama by Kayode Jr. Affidavit by Abiodun Odu. Turn by Ayodeji Ayodele. Halima by Abiodun Odu. The Struggle by Chidinma Ugu. Tailored by Rimam Shamaki. Orisun by Alaya Oluwaseun. Miro by Koride Olayinka. Online Best by Anson Abel. Help by Nwamaka Chikezie. Daddy Lessons by Precious Emmanuel Allison. Sleep Series by Ambassador Homsuk. Jibin by Yunusa A. Korede, Mudball by Ahmed Yunusa Korede, Stupid Finder by Dotun Ololade and Sylvester Ohonsi, We Move by Ayodeji Odunake, I Have a Story by Austin Oliver, Wasteland by Senate Ewa, Mend by Samson Ogaga, Guest of the Woods by Abubakar Adamu, Strength of a Woman by Olabode Easy, Ada by Michael Chukudi Ote, SDGs and the Kids by Chibuzo Iyoha, Stray by Elijah Olanase, The Plastic Collector by Willie Walkman Oga, Modern Nature Music Video by Jennifer Gentet, Lockdown by Manuel Kuye, A Night for Suya by Damilola Mohib Omotayo, Strains by Yakubu Abdulaziz, No Food for Lazy Man by Chukwugozie Igbo, Disease by Erika Bale, Call End by Hakima Benjamin, Naman Yubi by A.A. Princely and Jeffrey Holmes Umulo, Forever Yours by J. Osaz Odin, SDGs Film Challenge by Oluwafemi Ojorongbe, Freedom Come by Tochi Biko and Precious Okpala, Omo Atama by Genius Hub, The Monster Within by Favor Egbekome, Ademola Luke and Michael Bale, The Ordeal by Oluwajuwon Bolaji Max, Almost by Jonah Ina Moses, Wale by Anu Gospel Fame, Plight of a Lone Parent by Maureen Ifeoma Ikoko, The Change Advocate by Frank Somto Mbaneku, Hands Tied by Damola Adele and Latifa Momo, 48 Hours by Damilola Adeyenri, Water Palava.
About 2.2 billion people around the world lack access to safely managed drinkable water services. At the human level, water cannot be seen in isolation from sanitation. Together, they are vital for reducing the global burden of disease and help improving health, education, and economic productivity of the population.
Water is also the art of adaptation to climate change, serving as a crucial link between society and its environment.
Over half the population of 4.2 billion people lack safely managed sanitation services.
Here is the good part. You can help make a difference. Together, we can prevent the death of 297 children under the age of 5 each year around the world.
A little act of love will go a long way.
Help save the world.
Say cheese! Hey.
While the primary goal of the SDGs Short Film Challenge for youth is to create robust public awareness on the SDGs and its implementation in Nigeria, the challenge's goals are also to instigate dialogue and energize actions around SDGs and to avail critical stakeholders an opportunity to contribute meaningfully to the advocacy and sensitization drive for implementation of the goals. For the overall entries, 3 finalists will be drawn by the jury, from where the winner, first and second runners-up will be decided and announced at the grand finale, with the winner rewarded with prizes. Aside wider coverage of the best 3 films both locally and internationally, the challenge will also expose the filmmakers to foreign exchange programs and leverage on endowment platforms, among other benefits. Overall, the primary outcome of youth campaign is to raise awareness and increase knowledge of the Sustainable Development Goals and initiate dialogue on the role of young people in Nigeria to take on a more active role in achieving the 2030 agenda, with a specific focus on inclusion to ensure no one is left behind. The dialogue and film challenge will also help to raise awareness on the launch of the National Youth Campaign on the global goals as OSSAP-SDGs roll out other activities under the campaign. This will help to stimulate longer-term communication and collaboration between government, development partners, and youth actors on the implementation of the SDGs.
Agenda 2030. As a successor framework for the Millennium Development Goals, the global community rolled out a bigger, deeper, and more encompassing framework called the Sustainable Development Goals, designed to transform our world, lift the poor out of poverty, as well as ensure inclusive and healthy society. On Agenda 2030, we take you on a media trip to the global destination of the future we want. With everyone on board, we focus on the people and their struggle, the civil society and their agitations, the government and her development effort, the Global Development Agenda, its 17 goals and 169 targets. We bring you all the deliberations, insightful conversations, and high-level partnerships on the road to global destination. Agenda 2030, showing on this channel. Agenda 2030, leaving no one behind.